But some of his most hurtful comments were reserved for Princess Diana's former butler, devoted friend. She described him as her rock, Paul Burrell.
In a stunning revelation, Princess Diana's closest confidant has finally spoken out after decades of secrecy. The friend and confidant has come forward with a chilling confession about the affair of Camilla and Prince Charles. But what secret has been revealed? And how does this change our view of Camilla's affair? Join us to find out what he said. The heartbreaking love story that fell apart. The world was filled with joy the day Prince Charles married Lady Diana Spencer. It was a wedding like no other, with cheers, bright smiles, and grand celebrations. Everyone believed it was a perfect fairy tale. Diana, with her beauty, youth, and gentle heart, seemed the perfect match for Charles, the future king. But behind the palace walls, things were quietly beginning to change. At first, their marriage appeared full of happiness. Charles and Diana were often seen together, sharing tender moments and attending events as a couple. But in truth, their relationship wasn't as perfect as it looked. The age gap between them, along with their very different personalities, made things difficult. Diana was lively, cheerful, and playful, while Charles preferred quiet moments and older friends. Slowly, these differences pulled them apart. By the time 5 years had passed, the problems in their marriage could no longer be hidden. In 1986, both Diana and Charles made choices that hurt their relationship even more. Diana grew close to James Hewitt, who had been their family's riding instructor. At the same time, Charles turned back to Camilla Parker Bowles. These secret affairs added more pain to an already troubled marriage. Rumors spread quickly. The press began to hint about Diana and Hewitt, and some even questioned if Prince Harry was truly Charles's son because of how much he resembled Hewitt. But those claims weren't true, as Harry had been born before Diana ever met Hewitt. By 1987, the sadness in the royal couple's life was becoming clear. Reporters noticed the coldness between them. They no longer held hands or smiled at each other in public. Newspapers gave them the nickname the Glums, because of how unhappy they always looked when together. The magic of their fairy tale seemed to have disappeared. In 1989, things reached a breaking point. At a birthday party for Camilla's sister, Diana bravely faced Camilla about the affair with Charles. It was a tense and painful moment for Diana, who already felt trapped and miserable in the marriage. Then in 1992, the public learned the heartbreaking truth through a book titled Diana, Her True Story. It revealed Diana's deep sadness, struggles, and even her thoughts of self-harm. At first, both Diana and writer Andrew Morton denied working together. But after Diana's death, Morton admitted that she had secretly helped by recording tapes about her private battles. That same year, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip tried to help. They arranged a quiet meeting between Charles and Diana, hoping they could save their marriage. Prince Philip even wrote to Diana, sharing his disappointment about the affairs and asking her to understand Charles's side. It wasn't easy for Diana to read those words, but she appreciated the effort. People often believed Diana and Prince Philip did not get along. Some thought there was tension between them, while others believed the letters showed concern, not anger. Later, Prince Philip made it clear he had never insulted Diana. More problems followed in 1992 and 1993. Private phone calls between Diana and James Gilby were recorded and leaked to the public. The scandal became known as Squidgygate and embarrassed the royal family. In December 1992, British Prime Minister John Major announced that Charles and Diana had agreed to separate but would stay legally married. Soon after, more secret recordings appeared, this time between Charles and Camilla, sharing very personal remarks. The media named it Tampon Gate. In 1994, Charles decided to speak openly in a TV interview. He admitted that he had restarted his relationship with Camilla in 1986, but said it only happened after his marriage to Diana was beyond repair. That same year, a book called Princess in Love was released by Anna Pasternak. It talked about Diana's relationship with James Hewitt. Hewitt worked closely with the writer, sharing private details about their time together. The book upset Diana, though some people guessed she allowed its release to stop Hewitt from selling stories elsewhere. There were also rumors linking Diana to other men, like art dealer Oliver Hoare, rugby player Will Carling, and businessman Theodore J. Forstmann. Diana denied many of these claims, and no proof was ever found. Despite all these that Diana faced, the public loved her. How did she get on the best side of the people? Who was she to the world? Let's dive in. The princess who touched hearts. Princess Diana quickly captured the world's heart the moment she entered the royal family. With her warm smile, kind heart, and honest way of speaking to people, she became more than just a princess. She became a shining symbol of love, kindness, and generosity. No matter who someone was, rich or poor, Diana had a special way of making people feel seen and important. In the early days of her royal life, Diana quietly faced personal problems. But even while carrying her own pain, she reached out to help those in need. She bravely spoke about her struggles, like her battle with an eating disorder. By sharing her story, she gave hope and strength to others who were suffering too, and helped people understand the importance of mental health. For Diana, kindness wasn't just words. She showed it through her actions. She was known for visiting hospitals, comforting the sick, and lending a hand to people ignored by others. She did not like stiff rules or formal behavior, preferring warmth, laughter, and honesty, even with her closest friends. Diana always made people feel relaxed and reminded them they did not need to act differently around her. Her kindness and charm brought fresh energy to the royal family. Before her, royal charity work sometimes felt distant and cold, but Diana made it personal and full of heart. People noticed how she connected with everyday people, especially in places like the United States, where she was seen as a breath of fresh air. With her gentle way, she made people feel as though they truly knew her, even if they had only seen her in pictures or on television. After her separation from Prince Charles, Diana seemed to shine even brighter. Many believed this was when she truly discovered herself. She embraced her freedom, found new courage, and poured herself into helping others. This part of her life showed how strong she was, proving she could rise above pain and heartbreak. Diana cared about many causes. She helped the homeless, troubled children, people fighting addiction, and elderly people. She became a leader and supporter of many important groups, including Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children and the Royal Academy of Music. She also supported the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art and the Natural History Museum. Helping children was one of Diana's biggest passions. She raised large amounts of money for charities and was often seen visiting hospitals like the Royal Brompton, where she comforted very sick patients and their families. She wasn't afraid to be close to those who were unwell, and she often held their hands, showing love and care. One of Diana's bravest moments was when she reached out to AIDS patients at a time when many people were too scared. She was the first British royal to openly support them, sending a message that kindness matters more than fear. In 1987, she made headlines when she held the hand of an AIDS patient, breaking down fears and changing minds. With simple, loving gestures, she brought hope and dignity to people often pushed aside by society. Diana did not stop there. She opened health centers and often visited AIDS clinics in the UK and other countries. As the patron of the National AIDS Trust, she fought for housing and support for those living with the illness. Her honest, kind message about showing compassion to people with AIDS helped change how the world saw the disease. Another cause close to Diana's heart was the fight against landmines. She worked with the Halo Trust, an organization that cleared landmines in war-torn places. In 1997, Diana made headlines again when she courageously walked through a minefield in Angola, wearing protective gear. Even when some leaders accused her of getting involved in politics, she did not stop. Her bravery brought attention to the danger landmines caused, especially to children, and inspired others to join the fight. Just weeks before her passing, Diana traveled to Bosnia, where she met landmine survivors and listened to their stories. She helped shine a light on their struggles. Her bravery and kindness earned her even more love and respect from people everywhere. Diana spent much of her life supporting health charities. She visited cancer hospitals, raised money, and spoke up for people with illnesses like cancer, AIDS, and leprosy. she became president of the Royal Marsden Hospital and opened a special children's cancer unit. Her kindness reached beyond Britain. In 1996, she visited a new cancer hospital in Pakistan, showing her care for people across the world. Diana's kindness wasn't about fancy speeches or big shows. It showed in simple, everyday moments. She was always polite and gentle, no matter who she was speaking to. Her talent for truly listening, offering a warm smile, and making people feel valued left a lasting mark. Even people who never met her felt touched by her spirit. The end of Diana and Charles's marriage. At one time, the marriage between Prince Charles and Princess Diana seemed like a perfect fairy tale to many people. But behind the smiling faces and grand celebrations, their relationship was falling apart. Slowly, what started as a beautiful love story turned into a very difficult struggle for both of them. In 1995, Diana showed great bravery when she agreed to be interviewed by journalist Martin Bashir for the BBC program Panorama. This interview soon became famous everywhere. It was the first time Diana spoke openly about the problems in her marriage. She shared her personal pain and talked about Prince Charles's relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles. People were shocked when Diana spoke about how troubled her marriage had become. She talked about her sadness, her struggles with mental health, and her unhealthy eating habits. She admitted to hurting herself at times because of the heavy emotional pain she carried. Her honesty touched people's hearts, and many admired her courage for finally speaking out. At that time, no one knew that the interview was actually arranged in a dishonest way. It was only many years later that the truth came out. It was revealed that Martin Bashir had faked bank papers to gain Diana's trust. These false papers made it look like people close to her were being paid to spy on her. This made Diana more fearful and pushed her to share her personal life. An independent investigation later confirmed that Bashir took advantage of Diana's worries to get the interview. This interview became a turning point, showing that the royal marriage could not be saved. On December 20, 1995, Buckingham Palace announced that Queen Elizabeth had written to both Charles and Diana, advising them to end their marriage. This decision was made after long talks with senior royal advisors and the Prime Minister. Prince Charles quickly agreed to the divorce in writing. In February 1996, Diana also gave her approval, but she surprised everyone at Buckingham Palace by announcing it herself. This caused some tension, as the royal family usually preferred to handle private matters quietly and away from the public eye. By July 1996, both sides finally came to an agreement about the divorce. Before this, Diana had accused Tiggy Legubourk, a personal assistant to Charles, of behaving improperly. Diana believed Tiggy was too close to Charles and even claimed she had ended a pregnancy involving him without his knowledge. Tiggy quickly asked for an apology through her lawyer, and soon after, Diana's private secretary, Patrick Jeffson, resigned. It was later revealed that these rumors had been made up by Martin Bashir to pressure Diana into doing the Panorama interview. The legal process for ending their marriage began shortly after. A decree nisi was granted on July 15, 1996, which started the official divorce procedure. On August 28, 1996, the divorce was finalized. Diana's lawyer was Anthony Julius. Although they were no longer married, Charles and Diana agreed to share the parenting of their two beloved sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. As part of the settlement, Diana received a lump sum of 17 million euros and a yearly payment of 400,000 euros. Both Charles and Diana promised not to speak publicly about their marriage or the divorce. Even though they were separated, both of them remained very much in the public eye. One of the most talked about parts of the divorce was about Diana's royal title. Before the divorce was final, new rules were made about royal titles after a divorce. Diana lost the title of Her Royal Highness and was called Diana, Princess of Wales. It was said that the Queen wanted Diana to keep her title, but Charles insisted that it be taken away. Prince William reportedly comforted his mother by telling her that one day when he became king, he would give it back to her. About a year before the divorce, Prince Philip, Diana's father-in-law, had warned her about what could happen if she caused trouble for the royal family. But Diana, known for her quick wit, reportedly reminded him that her own family's title had existed longer than his. Even though the end of their marriage brought sadness, Diana's bravery gave hope to people all over the world. She showed that even in the hardest times, a person can find the courage to tell their story, stay true to themselves, and move forward. After the divorce, Diana continued her charity work and stayed deeply loved by many people. Through it all, one trusted friend stood with her. Who was this? What was his confession about the scandalous relationship? Let's find out. The loyal man behind Princess Diana. Paul Burrell comes from Grassmore, Derbyshire, a small village famous for its coal mines. In that town, boys usually followed their fathers and worked in the mines. But Paul's father was a lorry driver. So many thought Paul would drive trucks too. Yet, even as a young boy, Paul dreamed of something very different. When Paul was just 8 years old, he went to London with his family and saw the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace. That moment filled his heart with wonder and inspired him to work for the royal family. This dream stayed with him for many years. Paul went to William Rhodes Secondary School in Chesterfield and later studied hotel management at High Peak College in Buxton. These studies taught him useful skills for working in service jobs. Little did he know they would open doors to an unexpected and very special opportunity. At 18, Paul became a footman at Buckingham Palace. Just 1 year later, he was chosen to be Queen Elizabeth II's personal footman. To tell him apart from another footman, the staff called him Small Paul, while the other was Tall Paul. Paul's life changed in 1987 when he was asked to work at Highgrove House, the home of Prince Charles and Princess Diana. From that time, he became Princess Diana's butler and stayed with her until her sad death in 1997. Over time, Paul and Diana grew very close. Diana trusted Paul more than most people did. He was not just a worker to her, he became one of her closest friends. When Diana went through hard times filled with sadness and troubles, Paul was always there. He gave her comfort, loyalty, and a kind ear. Diana often turned to Paul for emotional support, and their friendship grew deep and true. Not everyone liked Paul, though. Diana's mother, Frances Shand Kidd, did not approve of him. She thought Paul might care more about Diana's fame than about Diana herself. But no matter what others thought, Diana treasured Paul and counted on him during her hardest moments. Before we dive into what he confessed, let's look at the last days Diana spent with the world. The day the world cried for Diana. Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed arrived in Paris on Saturday, August 30th, 1997. Dodi was the son of a famous businessman named Mohammed Al Fayed, and he was with her. They had spent 9 wonderful days on Mohammed's private yacht, sailing along the beautiful French and Italian Riviera. This trip gave them a peaceful break from the non-stop attention of the public and the press. Their plan was to stay one night in Paris before going back to London. Mohammed Al Fayed owned the famous Hotel Ritz in Paris. He also had a quiet home near the busy Avenue des Champs-Élysées. Diana and Dodi ate dinner at the hotel, but soon decided to leave. They wanted to avoid the photographers who were following them everywhere. Sadly, in the early hours of August 31st, 1997, something terrible happened. While trying to escape the paparazzi, their car crashed in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris. The accident was sudden and very serious. Diana, Dodi, the driver Henry Paul, and bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones were all inside the car. Henry Paul and Dodi passed away at the scene. Trevor survived but was badly hurt. Diana was rushed to Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital. Even though doctors worked hard to save her, she passed away. The news of Diana's death shocked the whole world. People everywhere felt the pain deeply. Diana was not just a princess, she was a loving mother, a true friend, and a woman known for her kindness. The loss left a big, empty space in many hearts. In London, thousands of people came together. At Kensington Palace, they left flowers, candles, notes, and letters, piling up at the entrance. The flowers stretched far and wide, Strangers stood close together, some crying softly, others quietly remembering. It felt like time had stopped for everyone. That same day, Diana's body was flown from Paris to London. Prince Charles and Diana's two sisters were by her side. When the coffin arrived, covered with the royal flag, it was first taken to a quiet mortuary. Then, it was moved to the Chapel Royal at St. James's Palace. The days that followed were full of sadness. The news was everywhere, and messages of support came from all over the world. Many believed that no one could fill the space Diana left behind. On September 5th, Queen Elizabeth II appeared on live television for the first time in many years. She spoke warmly about Diana and joined in honoring her memory. The Queen and other royal family members traveled back from Balmoral to London to visit the Sea of Flowers outside Buckingham Palace. They met the grieving crowds and went to the Chapel Royal to pay their respects. Diana's funeral took place on September 6, 1997, at Westminster Abbey. It was a quiet, emotional day that touched millions. Over 2,500,000,000 people watched it on TV around the world. In the UK, more than 32 million people saw it, and in the US, around 50 million viewers tuned in. At the funeral, Prince William and Prince Harry walked bravely behind their mother's coffin. They were joined by Prince Charles, the Duke of Edinburgh, Diana's brother Earl Spencer, and many others who cared about her work. The image of the two young princes walking through London touched many hearts deeply. One of the most special moments was when Elton John sang a new version of his song Candle in the Wind to honor Diana. The song showed Diana's warmth, kindness, and the light she brought to others. The lyrics spoke to the feelings of everyone that day. After the public ceremony, a private burial took place later, with only close family and friends. Diana wore a simple, elegant black dress with long sleeves designed by Catherine Walker, one of her favorite designers. She held a set of rosary beads given to her by Mother Teresa, symbolizing faith and peace. Diana was laid to rest on a small island on the Althorpe Park estate, her family's home. This quiet, beautiful place was surrounded by trees and water. There, away from the noise of the world, she found her final resting place. Even after all this time, people remember that day. The world mourned a wonderful woman, someone who cared deeply for those often forgotten, who greeted strangers with a smile, and made everyone feel loved and important. Now, what actually did Paul say? How would this confession change our view on the already affected relationship? Let's see that. What Paul Burrell said. At just 18 years old, Paul Burrell began his journey with the royal family. Over time, he grew close to many members of the royal household. Eventually, he worked very closely with Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Slowly, Paul became one of Diana's most trusted friends. She found comfort in sharing her feelings with him, knowing he would always listen carefully. Paul often told stories about the early days of Diana's romance with Prince Charles. He remembered how young and pure Diana looked when they first met. At only 18, she had never truly felt real love until Charles came into her life. To Diana, it seemed like a fairy tale was coming true. She believed that the charming prince would take her away to a beautiful castle where they would live happily ever after. Full of hope and innocence, Diana held tightly to this dream. But things did not turn out the way she imagined. Paul recalled a moment during their engagement when a reporter asked Prince Charles if he loved Diana. Charles replied, "I am not sure what love is." Diana, standing nearby, let out a shy giggle. She looked at him with hope, wanting to hear something more. She had truly fallen for him. Any young woman in her place would have felt the same way. Diana trusted this relationship with all her heart. She believed that her beauty, kindness, and honesty would win Charles's love completely. She thought she could change him and make him love her deeply. But Paul explained that Charles's heart was with someone else, someone older, someone who had always been there in the background. Even though Diana knew about Camila, she still hoped things would get better. Paul believed that, despite everything, there was some connection between Diana and Charles in the beginning. He did not think Charles was madly in love with her, but he did feel something for her. According to Paul, their two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, were born out of true love. In those early days, Paul saw them as one family. He remembered watching them spend time together at royal homes, like Balmoral and Sandringham. Diana admired Charles deeply, but her love for her children was even stronger. There were happy and peaceful moments during that time. Years later, after Diana's heartbreaking death, Paul spoke at the official inquiry about the tragic night in Paris. He shared many details, including Diana's private relationship with a heart surgeon named Hasnat Khan. Paul said Diana quietly thought about marrying him, but he denied rumors that Diana planned to announce an engagement to Dodi Fayed, the man she was with before she passed away. During the inquiry, Paul was asked about a letter Diana sent him in 1996. In the letter, she worried that Charles was plotting to marry Camila and that he was working against her. The letter showed Diana's sadness, fear, and loneliness. It revealed how isolated she felt. Paul also hinted in his book, A Royal Duty, that he held a secret about the royal family but promised never to reveal it. Although the court dismissed this, it added a mysterious feeling to the story. Later, in 2008, questions were raised about Paul's honesty. Reports said he admitted to hiding some information and even saying things that were not true to confuse the investigation. Paul faced more trouble than just this. He was criticized for keeping Diana's personal letters. People wondered if he was truly loyal to her. The coroner in charge of the investigation even doubted Paul's trustworthiness. In 2003, Paul wrote a book called A Royal Duty. It told about his time working for the royal family, especially during Charles and Diana's marriage and later divorce. He also wrote about the theft accusations that were dropped. The book was published worldwide and later updated in a paperback edition. But not everyone liked the book. Princes William and Harry were upset. They felt Paul had betrayed their mother's trust by sharing private stories. To them, the book felt cold and unfaithful. After the confession, how did the public respond? Let's find out. How people reacted. Paul Burrell's surprising admission that he did not tell the whole truth during Princess Diana's inquest caused a big reaction all over the world. The news spread quickly through TV, newspapers, and social media. People from everywhere rushed to share their thoughts online, filling the internet with hashtags, posts, and comments. Diana's supporters on social media showed many feelings. Some felt sad that someone so close to her had kept secrets for so long. They believed Paul should have spoken up earlier. Many shared old photos of Diana with loving messages, while others showed their anger by blaming Paul for hiding the truth. Hashtags like Justice for Diana, Tell the Truth Paul, and Princess of Hearts started trending fast. People from all over the world reshared interviews, videos, and pictures of Diana to honor her memory as a kind and caring woman. Supporters expressed their sadness and disappointment with Paul. They wondered why he stayed silent at such important times if he truly cared about Diana. The negative reactions came quickly. Some said if Paul had told everything sooner, there might have been more answers about what happened that tragic night in Paris. Many felt it was wrong to keep secrets, especially since they thought Paul was close to Diana. People criticized him for waiting many years after making money from books and attention before sharing such a big secret. At the same time, some people felt sorry for Paul. They said it must have been hard to carry such a heavy secret alone. But most people felt frustrated and angry. TV shows and radio programs debated if Paul had broken Diana's trust. Newspapers wrote bold headlines about the public's hurt feelings. In the end, Paul's admission left a strong mark. It reminded everyone how much people still love and miss Diana. Even after so many years since her death, her memory stays alive and important. The whole world has not forgotten her, and her fans keep her spirit close to their hearts. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.